Person 68. So another tough one for me. Basically, your energy manifests on the rainbow road, and I see this like green sequenced four-leaf clover, and instantly then I see this like paper cut out of that emblem from the football team, the Fighting Irish, where he's like punching, and so I see him like punching towards this like four-leaf clover, and I just keep hearing like Fighting Irish, and so but it was like a paper cutout, so it was really interesting. That's not how things typically present themselves. And so the next image I get is of two paper cutouts of like cowboys on the backs of horses, and they're like galloping, but it's like paper, so it's like just moving front and back to show that it's galloping. And I get like the sound effects of like the guns being shot and the horse hoofs like going on the ground, and I just keep getting the word Western over and over in my head, and it's going Western, Western, Western. And again, everything's paper cut out, and like the sound effects, I was being drawn to the what's that old British comedy, like they did the parodies and the skits, and the one was about the Knights of the Round Table, and like that one guy's got the horse hooves on his chest, and he's making the sound of the horse clopping along. And so like that's kind of in my mind. It was like sound effects were going toward to follow what these like paper cutouts were doing. And then the next scene I get is of James Bond from Casino Royale. And the only reason I know this is because they showed me like that placard that's like a casino chip out there, but instead of being like a circular chip, it's like that that flat brick looking thing, and that's like the only thing I know from Casino Royale. I think like I love, what is it, in Monte Carlo or something, that those chips, and so that's what I'm getting. And again, it's all paper cutout, so I'm wondering why everything's paper cutout, and I start getting everything kind of collaged together. And so I'm kind of right back in like high school when you would make collages of things that like represented you or things that you really liked. And so I'm getting that somehow this is just like an interpretation of who you are, maybe the like Fighting Irish and the Westerns and the Casino Royale, so like James Bond or poker or all of the above. And so I get that this is just maybe trying to kind of like hone in on your energy. And so from here, everything changes, and now we move through the portal. And as you move through the portal, you actually are in a rowboat. No, that was second. So you go to the portal, and you like are going through the doorway, and you've got a bungee cord tied around your ankles, and you like jump off, and you're a bungee cord, and so you're bouncing up and down, and like I don't get the feeling that you're trapped, but I get this feeling of like confusion isn't the right word, but like a state of suspension, or like being bounced around, or like pulled around, almost like someone's like yanking your chain or something, and like you kind of are just bouncing back and forth, and it's just kind of like almost like a state of confusion, but it's not confusion. It's like like why you just keep going up and down and up and down. And it's like, why am I doing this? Or like questioning things. And so then I get that from here you start to take on a process that I first did when I started connecting, psychically, I guess. And, but you took it to a totally different opposite kind of direction. And so I first started connecting on a rainbow bridge, and I'd get guided to stars, and then these stars would basically like talk to me and give me guidance. And so when we're first working and dealing with energy, we can't interpret the frequency, and it's if you think of like a bat using sonar, right? So they use sonar, and it like transitions into their mental capacity to like map out like what do they call that, the topography, right? And so basically that's like in the very beginning, that's what you're doing when you're learning, is you're engaged in frequency, and it comes through, and you don't really know what to make of it, so it takes its own form. And so how I connected was through the stars in the very beginning, in a state of meditation. And so what they're showing me is you walking on this rainbow bridge, but it's all forms of the color gray, like blacks, whites, and grays. And so it's void of color and or light. And then you take one of the stars, and you're like this big beefy guy, and you punch the star. And so now I'm going between like this bungee cord, the state of suspension, and like punching out a star, which I would consider a form of ethereal communication, and the void of light. And so I'm getting maybe that there's not distrust, but there maybe was a time when you were skeptical of all of this, and I would have questioned at this point if you were skeptical of this process. But then moving forward, then I say, okay, if this is like the energy you're showing me, then give me another sign that this is what we're pointing towards. And so then you get into this rowboat, and you row backwards, and as you move backwards, you actually go into this cave, and there's like writing on the wall, and you like start spray painting over it. And so caves are typically a symbol to me of like the inside of the mind, and the right holographic brain, and like how we interpret those kind of messages and things. And so you're covering this up. And so again, I'm getting maybe there was a level of skepticism within you, and so moving from here, then you're still in the rowboat. Now you're moving forward, and it's basically this like pixie comes and basically puts like some kind of spell type of a thing over you, and you pass out in the boat, and you're like laying down staring up at the sky, and this pixie's kind of like guiding you, and you start to have really lucid dreams. And I get this is like a transition point for you, and so now I'm thinking that maybe you dealt with skepticism at some point in time, but you have since transitioned out of this, because I get that there was a turning point for you where you started to believe in this stuff, where you started having experiences that were too hard to deny, or to continue the skepticism. And so then I see like these really lucid dreams being brought to you, and so I don't know if you know, but I would assume you have a connection with the like fairy realms and the pixies and stuff. So and typically they come out to play like at night, and then when you're in nature and stuff. So like this would be a complete connection to that kind of realm. So whether you know that or connect into that or not, you could probably connect into that realm and that frequency. But so moving on, then from here I see the boat dock. No. So the boat then, so I'm from Southern California, right? So I grew up on the Anaheim Disneyland, and so the boat then starts to go up like Splash Mountain, and so you're like ascending up this like mountain, but in the water, and your rowboat, and you get to the very top, and then you start plunging down, and you go through like the briar patch, and then you actually get you get propelled up, and you're soaring now up like a side of a mountain, but it's like a very ethereal, like staircase cloud drenched like side of the mountain with a big sun behind it. So I get this very Asian feeling setting, and now I know we're going to your Akashic records. And so as you ascend up this next side of the mountain, then it's definitely like some kind of like Buddhist temple or something, this is like the feeling I'm getting. So I see you start to kind of transition into this monk. So I'm getting that there has been some kind of transition for you into the realm of spirituality. And so you're moving to your records. And as we go into your records, you like sit with all your brothers, right? And so like you sit down and you start meditating, and it's like this I keep getting like vow of silence. So I get that there's this connection into silence. And so that there is and has been a transition, and you connect into the silence, and I think you find peace and comfort and wisdom now within the silence. And then this all opened up, and I called down your higher self, and your higher self comes to me in the form. Oh, but before we do this, I actually look at your records, and it was really interesting because I look to the left, and I see this this channel, this tunnel, not tunnel, but like a tube carved into the wall, and it's exactly something that I have in my records, and it has the star emblem on it. And what I do in my records when I go here is I stand into this like tube or this vessel, and I'll get sucked into basically the universe, and I can connect again directly with the stars and get, you know, whatever wisdom from the universal type wisdom that I may be seeking. And so it's a direct connection for me, and I saw this in your records too, and I think that's really funny. That's, you know, maybe a connection why they gave me that symbolism in the very beginning with you punching out the star. But so again, you can probably connect into the universal wisdom too. And so then your higher self descends down, and your higher self takes the shape of a book. And so it's this like big bound book, you know, hardcover with like golden rimmed pages. And I ask your higher self, what's for the highest wisdom for this person to know at this point in time? And basically they told me that you just needed validation of your journey, and that that this is all just validation for you to let you know that you're on the right path and that you're doing exactly what you should be doing. And that, and then they went on saying, like, the more you seek the wisdom, the more wisdom you'll receive. And kind of went on saying, you know, you're right where you need to be, and this is just like a validation for you, basically. And that you, and I asked, oh, does this person connect into the records? They said you do connect into your Akashic records. And I asked if you know that you're connecting into your records, and they said that you do know that you're connecting into your records. So you know, that was interesting to me too. So it looks like you're on a path that you're seeking the higher wisdom of your soul destiny, and you're achieving it. And so it was more of just like a kind of thumbs up and a validation, or helping with that maybe self-trust too. So with light and love.